Yeah, welcome back to the Be Apollo podcast. Today, like every other day, we have great stories to cover. Um, Mostly Nigerian stories for sure. So just stay tuned. But before we get into this today, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been subscribing, watching, liking, commenting, all that good stuff. I mean, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers now, so I'm so excited for that, and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully we're gonna hit that 1,000 subscribers very soon, and go from there, and hopefully get monetized, and keep making great contents like usual. And if there are any specific contents you guys would like us to, or like me to produce or talk about, definitely I'm down for it. So let me know for sure. But please subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. That encourages me to come back here every Sunday and drop these contents or make these contents for you guys. But anyway, without further ado, we're just gonna get into it for today. And the first story that I have today is about real estate in Nigeria. I don't know why the camera is kind of zooming in behind and blurring me out. But anyway, the first story I have here for today is about real estate in Nigeria. And I watched the video actually, and I just wanted to react to that video. So without any further ado, I'm going to play that video, and then I'll give my reactions to that or my thoughts to that. I just need to find that video and share my screen, of course. But here we go. Let's share our screen, and then we go from there. I think it has to be this one. So yeah, I'm just going to share this one right here. And boom, we have it up here. All right. Here we go. And before I play this, I just want to see who this guy is. Scott Iguma. So shout out to you, Scott Iguma. I'm using your reaction or your video. I'm going to be reacting to your video for today. And let's get into this. I'm going to start it afresh. And here we go.
The house somewhere in Texas going for $3.7 million. This is another house somewhere in Texas going for $3.4 million. This is a house somewhere in Lagos going for $5 million. Now let's compare these three houses and see if they worth the price. This is the first house in Texas going for
It's a 5-bedroom, 5.1 baths. It's a 3-car garage. It's 7,042 square feet. It's currently listed at $3,697,700, which is $525 price per square foot, and it's sitting on a 0.46 acre lot, which is roughly 20,000 square feet.
The second house in Texas going for
It's a
3.4
5-bedroom,
million.
5.2 baths. It's a 2-car garage. It's 6,651 square feet. It's currently listed at $3,400,000, which is $511 price per square foot, and it's sitting on a 0.34 acre lot, which is roughly 14,800 square feet.
And lastly, this is the house somewhere in Lagos going for $5 million. There are two things involved here. Either you guys are selling these houses to fraudsters, corrupt politicians, drug lords, and probably even using it for money laundering. And again, people are also buying this house to post and not to enjoy. Because when one celebrity buy a house of $1 million, the other one, that they are both doing competition, who want to buy a own for $2 million. So you say, and I me get money pass. And then we are buying these houses to post and not to enjoy it. And they are selling these houses to your ego. But this is a pandemic and it has to stop. Because if you keep selling these houses overpricedly, rent will increase. And if rent increase, guess what? Cost of living will increase. Because where do you expect people to get money to pay their rent? From their various businesses. They will also increase the cost of their various businesses so they can afford an expensive rent. And in no time, this city will sink. We will cripple this city. We will cripple it. Within the next 10 years, a 2-bedroom duplex in an average location will cost $100 million. This is a pandemic. It has to be stopped. Don't treat this as urgent. Within the next 20 years, the Lagos city will sink. And Lagos being a major city in Nigeria, to cut across every state, and we'll be having an increase in poverty. We are already having lots of homeless people roaming around the streets, no house to stay. They are not even building houses for the common men again. The common men can't afford houses again. Most of them now are living from one swamp to another, making houses with wood. Some of them are living in their businesses, in their stores. This is a house somewhere in Texas going for $3.7 million. This is another house somewhere in
All right, I
Texas
think it's on
going for
repeat now. So I'm just gonna
3.4.
pause this real quick and take this out of the screen. But we get the idea here. And I think every Nigerian can relate to this, just exorbitant, ridiculous amounts, the price tags they put on these houses, especially in Lagos. And to me, honestly, I agree with this young man 100%. These houses have no businesses. These houses have no business being the amount that they cost. Especially in Lagos. We know the state of Lagos. With to say, for lack of words, right? It's not the most beautiful city in the world. There's congestion, there's traffic issues, there's road network issues, there's pollution all around the place, in terms of noise, smells, drainage. The drainage system is just, they don't even have a drainage system, not to even say it's crazy or anything. There's no drainage system in the city, and this is supposed to be the mega city in Nigeria, right? And in these same neighborhoods, you see houses going for ridiculous amounts, right? Putting price tags on these houses. I think it's ridiculous, and this guy definitely pointed it out correctly. I like the way he had the comparisons with other houses that cost the same amount. And in the USA, we're talking about in the USA, right? These are houses that are very functional. You have houses with maybe 5.5 bathrooms, 2 living rooms, 3 living rooms, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms. It's just very functional. And then you go to the yard, some of them would have like, maybe even lakes, not just to say a few, right? Some of them would have like mini lakes, mini golf, what's it called? Mini golf courses, actual functional houses. But you go to Lagos and then you see houses with some small pond and they call it a swimming pool, which is ridiculous, right? It looks like a fish pond or something, and then they call it house with a swimming pool. That's not even a pool, that's a pond. It looks like a fish pond, right? And because of that pond, they put it in the compound or whatever, right? They make those houses. It just drives up the cost of these houses for no real reason. For the houses are not functional. Like if you see the way the houses, the quality of the finishing of the houses, like the edges are not like actual angles, like straight angles. The doors, you see the doors, the paint jobs are ridiculous. Just a whole lot of imperfections, right, in these houses. And for some reason, it's on the Banana Island, so it has to cost ~1 billion naira. Yeah, it has to cost $5 million just because it's on the Banana Island, right? What's so exciting about the Banana Island? I don't know. I mean, I didn't obviously. I can't afford a house there, obviously. So I don't want anybody coming to the conversation here and be saying, "Oh, it's because you cannot." Yeah, I can't afford it, and even if I could, I wouldn't, because it's just a waste of money. It's just there are cities like cities in South Africa, cities in Turkey, cities in Egypt. Even I'm not even Egypt, South Africa, cities in Tunisia, cities in Morocco, Algeria, that are way more beautiful than Lagos, and they don't even cost that much to own houses in those cities, right? Like the common basic things are there for these people, for the people who live in those cities, right? Let me do a quick search. So I like to search, right? City view. Let me see if I'm going to see anything real quick. City views in Cairo. Let's go to Cairo. Right? Let's go to Cairo. Or let's say houses in Cairo. All right, I see properties for sale in Cairo. I'm going to share my screen again just because, right? Just because. I'm going to share my screen again so we can all see this together, right? All right. So now we see these houses, right? I don't know what the conversion rate in Egypt to the dollar would be, right? But this is 11 million Egyptian money. I don't know what it's called, right? But here, let's take a look at this one. And I'm going to do that as well, right? Let's see exchange rates. Let's see exchange rates. And then I'm going to figure out what I hope it's going to let me do this real time and not waste my time. All right, this is trying to waste my time here. Let's see if I can make this fast. For some reason I can't. I used to do the, okay, there we go. Found it. We're going to say Egypt. Egyptian pound. There we go. So let's see what 11 million. Let's put the exact amount there. It's 1111. Let's copy it instead and just paste it. All right, let's copy and paste and see what it is. All right, so this is 221. I'm going to share this screen. I'm going to share this screen as well. Share this tab instead. So I'm going to zoom in here. You see what it is, right? 11 million Egyptian pound to the dollar. We have $221,000. $221,000. So that's this house. That's this house right here. It's $221,000. Now let's take a look at the pictures, right? Let's see what this house looks like. If it's a condo or a house or whatever it is, right? Let's see what it looks like. Seems like it's a condo. Look at the neighborhood, right? You have good road network. You see the good roads, right? It's a condo unit, I guess. You have community pool, good view, beautiful view. You see all this good stuff, right? Look at the skyline. You have this view of the skyline, right? All this good stuff for $221,000, right? I'm going to go look for another house, another property here in Egypt. Let's see this one. This one says it's 23 million Egyptian pounds, right? All right, let's see. Let's see what this looks like. I don't know if it comes with all these amenities, you know, the furniture and all that good stuff. I don't know if it comes with all of that, right? But look at the yard. It has green grass in the backyard. It has green grass in the backyard. I'd like to see the neighborhood, but this one is not showing me that. Unfortunately, it's not showing me the neighborhood. All right, let's see if we can find another one. Let's see if we can find another one. I don't know. For me, though, in general, I just think that the houses in Lagos are just overpriced, right? And that's just my opinion. And the young man that I played this video earlier, I think he just, it's. I mean, he was stating some reasons why it's a bad thing. It's going to drive price of cost of living up and all. It even putting that aside, the price tags on these houses are just not worth it. The price tags on the houses definitely not worth it. Let's look at Lagos Banana Island houses. Let's see Property Pro. All right, let's see this one. Okay. It's hard to zoom into these. It only has 6 pictures, and this is going for 850 million naira. I don't know, man. I just think let's look at the amenities here. It has a boys' quarter, security doors, street lights, 24 hours electricity, drainage system. I don't know about the drainage system, man. We all know how it is in Lagos. The drainage system, there's no drainage system to start with. Not to talk about the drainage. There's just no drainage system in the city. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think. This is what I think. I think they're overpriced. The properties in Lagos, especially the city of Lagos or other cities in the states, they're just overpriced for no reason. It's not like there are amenities that come up. It's not like there maybe the playground. There's a playground for kids. It's not like there's a park for where people can just go hang out and chill. It's not like there's community centers. Nothing of those sorts. The prices of these houses just keep going up for no reason. For no reason. For no reason. Just because. Nobody can even explain why these things happen. It's not like they built a new road or they built a new school or they built a new maybe light rail. Nothing. The prices just keep going up year after year after year after year. I don't know, man. I mean, some economies might tell you it's not sustainable. I definitely agree with them too. It's definitely not sustainable. I mean, these prices are just going up all for greed. For no actual reason are these prices going up. I mean, if anyone can tell me why the prices of houses in Lagos are going up, I'd like to know for sure. I mean, some people would say, oh, there's electricity and all that. Shouldn't that be a thing, though? Like, shouldn't the electricity be like something that's a given? Shouldn't that be a thing? Like something that it's a given. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's ridiculous, man. I think the government can do better for sure. I mean, there could be light rails, there could be water. Even the waters. The Lagos State has a lot of water bodies, right? That could be turned into parks, cleaned up. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think a lot of things could be better in the country, not just the state not just Lagos, right? A lot of things in the country could be better, but it's what it is. But hey, we're gonna move to the next story for today. I think I've ranted enough on that one. We're gonna move to the next story that I have today, and this one is about an influencer on Instagram. Shout out to Geh Geh. I watched a clip of his where he always calls himself a financial advisor, right? So I watched one of his clips where he was advising somebody, or he was saying, hey, you guys didn't listen to the advice I gave to you, right? You guys are going to suffer. You know how he says that shit, right? But hey, I have a video I'm going to play here of Geh Geh. I just need to find it, right? Like usual, I have to find it. But hey, he's a funny guy for sure, and I agree with a lot of things he say. Not everything, but most of the things he says, I agree with them. Let's take a listen here.
Nigerians, please, I'm just begging you guys to forgive me. I know let me just tell you the reason. I didn't know how to manage the money very well. Yes. Although it wasn't all my fault because that was my first step in business and that's my first experience of having that kind of money. So I just want to please ask you guys for a favor, ask you guys for another chance. I'm going to make you guys proud. I'm very, very serious. No one is above mistake.
Stop giving people more than what they deserve. Greed is better than kindness in building a nation. You know that you have to be very, very tough with money. Not just say you hear one small touching story that you are very, very eager to assist people financially. That in a way they do not be helped, they help them. They expose them to future mockery, loss of confidence, and they damage their future, but you don't even know. You know understand? Now, money and responsibility. When Aquafina helped this boy, I made a video to advise Aquafina and this boy, but they not take my advice. My greatest happiness today be say everybody who do advice before, will fail to listen to my advice. They later see the consequences. I'm a financial expert. And if I give advice from places like this, many of them don't understand because you don't get the financial ambience to understand what they talk. You know understand. Now, the day you place anybody, the day you give anybody financial support where they above their financial understanding, automatically you don't create disaster for that person's life because money is a responsibility and you are placing that person for place responsibility will be say they beyond them. You see the boy they cry now. He say he not get the experience. Not be say he not try. Not be say he not try, but he did his best. But he say he still lose the money because he not get the experience. He not get the education. He not get the understanding to handle the money. The advice when I give Aquafina, then I say, bring this boy under your mentorship. You don't need your money. You can that boy can be part of sales with the market for the company. You can be learning from there. They learn production and many things about the company. Bring this boy under your mentorship. Now what you say, you go see Igbo boy, we serve Oga for 6 years. Oga go settle this boy with just 300,000 naira. Then you go see Yahoo boy. We waste more than 30 million naira for business. In less than 6 months, you go lose the 30 million for that business. But you go see Igbo boy where Oga settle with 300,000. In 2 years' time, that boy go build that business to business with 30 million naira. Experience is better than capital in starting a business. People don't need financial help. They need financial advice. And they talk these things every day, but Nigerians don't take advice because they don't value financial experts for this part of the world. If now Western country are there, they give this advice. By now they for not preserve me. They for build place will be said they go keep me because one financial expert is worth more than 50 nuclear weapons from North Korea. But Nigeria not they value people. Now when if you go outside country, then they keep financial experts for they build place for the way they keep them. Now only when they want advice person, they bring them come outside. But it reach Nigeria and they look down on me because when they feel like it's okay because they come on like they advise people, I don't know myself. This boy called me yesterday. He called me yesterday. This Aquafina boy. He say he see my comment for 2 days not pay. When I say I go make video to advise him, he got they plead with me say if I make this video, make I plead with Nigerians when they give us a second chance. You know understand? I got tell her one thing. I said everybody deserves a second chance. And even if I want beg Nigerians to give you a second chance, now what I want to do for you be this. If you are in Nigeria and watching this video, please, I beg you in the name of God, let's contribute money and help this boy again. The money where this boy need to become successful is just 1,005,000 naira. You go pay that of that 1 million when I go contribute, they go pay me 1 million naira for my mentorship when I'll take mentor. Then the 5,000 naira I go give him. After my mentorship, I'll give him the 5,000 naira. Let him go and start. Let him go and start the business again. Let him go and start selling water again. So that he go get the experience. You know that's the one love. Oh.
Absolutely, man. I mean, Geh Geh definitely a funny guy. He tells his stories or he gives his advice in a very comical way, right? But I believe he means everything he says, right? Personally, I believe he means everything he says. Some people might think he's just joking. He's just, trying to chase clout or whatever. No, personally, I think Geh Geh means everything that he says, and everything he says does make sense. A lot of things he says, right, they make a lot of sense. That's for sure. This particular one, I totally agree with him because money, like he said, is a responsibility, a huge responsibility. If you don't know how to manage money, there's been tons and tons of stories of people who've won the lottery, right? This talking about millions and millions of dollars, right? And then they squandered the whole money and then came back being broke or went back to their old jobs and stuff like that. Because money is a responsibility. Not everybody knows how to manage it. Because you get a bulk amount of money, you think that's how it's going to keep coming. That's not how money works. If you don't build money, if you don't plant, some people would argue that like money is like a child or money is like a seed, right? You plant it, you nourish it, you groom it, and then it grows and keeps yielding. That's pretty much what money is, For someone who doesn't have this experience, this exposure, you just take a bunch of money and give to them. Like he said too, you might be setting this person up for future embarrassment, and that's what this guy, the Aquafina boy, I guess that's what we're gonna call him, right? The Aquafina boy, they set him up to fail because there are a lot of things they could have done to this guy, maybe done for him, right? They could have put him in a mentorship class. They could have given him a job, actually. They could have employed him and made him maybe a salesperson or something instead of giving him a bulk money, right? Now they've set him up for failure, and he's out here begging Nigerians to give him a second chance. Second chance for what, though? Second chance for what, though? And that's the thing with the internet these days. I mean, people go viral and they don't even know how to be, because they don't have a good management around them. They go viral. They don't know how to manage these 15 minutes or 15 seconds fame that they've gotten, and then boom, they're out there back to whatever it is they were doing, or even begging. Right? There's the Hoktoa girl in the USA, right? The girl who did the Hoktoa, and she became a viral sensation, right? But she's smart. What she did was she hired smart people to manage her. And right now she's still, even though she's not trending, but she's definitely capitalizing on that Hoktoa. She's featured on Jimmy Kimmel. She's featured on, I think Drewski also featured her in his upcoming show. I think it could have been Love or something like that. She's featured in a whole lot of things, right? That's having good management around you. That's what you get, right? That's what you get with good management. But if you can't even think of having a management team around you to help build your brand and take you to the next level, to extend your 15 seconds worth of fame or whatever, right? Then you're just going to go back and become the Aquafina boy who's going to be on the internet begging, oh, I need a second chance. Second chance for what, though? Second chance for what? Like, what's the second chance for? I mean, the sponsorships and everything you got, it's not because you had some type of talent. You just were hawking water in the streets, and the way you were selling it intrigued people. It was exciting. Someone recorded you, and boom, you became a viral sensation, right? And then you got a lot of donations. I know, typical Nigerians, right? You start donating money and all that good stuff. And now you're asking for a second chance. Second chance for what, though? I don't know, man. But I don't know about the second chance. And I agree with Geh Geh. If that money, or when that money is contributed, you guys should give the bulk of that money to Geh Geh for the mentorship that he has given to this guy. And then you should give him a very small portion so he can go back and learn that trade again and be humble. That's what he needs. But anyway, I don't know. If you disagree with me, I would like to know in the comment section for sure. But with that, I'm just gonna move to the next story that I have here. And the next story I have here is about the ridiculousness happening in the southeast Nigeria. The eastern part of Nigeria. The Igbo region of Nigeria, where there's been a lot of killings and stuff. Like, people, and this one is very personal to me because I'm Igbo, right? And you see people who claim to be Igbo nationalists, right? They claim to be Biafra nationalists, IPOP nationalists, or whatever it is they claim to be. But how can it be that you love your region so bad or so much, but then you go around killing your own people? Like, how can that be, though? Like, how can that possibly ever be? That you love your people so much, but then you're killing your own people, hindering development in the area, making security to be a major concern. There's not a lot of development happening in your area because of all these ridiculousness that you guys do. Right? How can that be, though, that you love your country, your region so much, but you're perpetrating all this stupidity, kidnapping people, killing people, maiming people, running around, not letting people go about their businesses freely? How does that ever? It would never make any sense to me. I mean, someone could possibly make it make sense, but then I think it would never make any sense to me. And that's why the idea of the Biafra, right? Listen, at this point, I think we should all just let it go. The Igbos, we should all let it go at this point. The idea of Biafra, having a country where we're going to call our own, because look at what's happening, right? Look at what's happening. We have a country we call our own, right? And you have a bunch of people killing us. And I'm not saying the country Nigeria is perfect. No, it's not perfect, but look at where we are. We have our own region where we have 5 states that are just around each other, the eastern states, right? The southeastern states, right? And shout out to President what's his name? Tinubu, by the way, for creating the Southeast Development Commission. I talked about this the other day on my podcast as well. But hey, shout out to President Tinubu for doing that for sure. But how can that be that we have our own region and the development in that region has been stagnated since after the war, right? I mean, we've come a long way, don't get me wrong, right? We've come a long way. We've come from nothing, from the total destruction of the land by the government of the time, right? The pogrom, the killings by the government, which nobody talks about till this day, right? But we've come a long way from that. We've grown, we've developed, we've built our cities back. We've developed our cities back. We've built everything from ground up, from ground zero. But these were the efforts of our fathers. But now we are the younger ones who were babies at that time, for sure, or maybe even a little bit grown or whatever, right? This is our time to take that growth that our fathers did, to take it to the next level. But what do? Chaos, right? Chaos. Because that's what we see in Anambra State. That's what we see in Imo State. At this point, I think only Abia State has some relative stability right now in the eastern region. And I'm from Abia, so shout out to Abia. Shout out to Governor Alex Oti for doing his thing for sure. But how can it be that this is our time, the younger ones, who didn't even experience the war? Our parents experienced the war, but then they survived, and then they built the region back to a point where we, the children now, are supposed to take it to the next level. But then we have some ridiculous people who call themselves IPOB or Biafra nationalists, whatever it is they call themselves, right? I don't even know. I don't follow them anymore, so I don't know what it is they call themselves at this point, right? You have some ridiculousness, right, going on there, especially in Anambra State. And the governor Soludo, is not even doing anything. I mean, I guess he's doing something, but he's not doing enough to curb this violence, to curb this nonsensity. He's not doing enough, because if he was doing enough, we wouldn't be here today. A friend of mine from Ihiala in Anambra State, he said the place is a no-go area. These criminals wouldn't let any business activity happen. They're pretty much taking over this area. And they have a government in that state. How is that? How is that possible? You have a government in the state and some other people take over your state. Like, how is that possible? I know you're going to shout, oh, the federal government. No, the federal government doesn't control anything. The state government has a lot of power too. The state government has a lot of power to do a lot of things. But they refuse to do these things, especially in the case of Governor Soludo, whom everybody thought was a smart guy, right? Because of, the reforms he did in the central bank at the time. Because of the reforms he did, I'm not going to start saying all those things, but he did a great job when he was the CBN governor. But right now, you're the governor of a state. How can't you use or tap into that smartness of yours and take your state to the next level? How can't you do that? It can't be too difficult, right? It can't be too difficult. I mean, it would never make any sense to me how there's a government in the land, there's a government of the state. But for some reason, some hoodlums, some criminals would overrun a city. How can that be, though? And this is hindering development. People can't travel freely. People are scared. People can't do businesses. People don't want to bring development back to that. People don't want to bring their resources back to those areas. and you're okay with whatever revenue you're generating from a smaller area of the state. You're okay with that when you could tap into every nook and cranny of the state. It would never make any sense to me, man. It would never make any sense to me. But hey, shout out to Governor Alex Oti for sure. I mean, he's doing his thing in Abia State. You know, he was the first governor in the Southeast to assure people of 24 hours electricity, and he made it a thing. You know, you would think states like River State with their unlimited natural resources like natural gas, you would think they would be the ones to do something like that. But no, Governor Alex Oti was the first to do it in that region. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. And I hope other regions in the other state governors in the region would take a thing or two from copy a thing or two from his note or from his blueprints, right? Hey, but with that, man, I'm gonna move to the next story that I have here. The next story that I have here is about the Grammys that was held last week. I would think so. And you know, Tems won the Grammy for the Best African Music Performance with her song "Love Me Geh Geh." You know, "Love Me Geh Geh" was a you know, it's I can call it a classic, right? When we were younger, "Love Me Geh Geh, Love Me Tender." I mean, I'm not I'm not a big fan of the song, but what's her name? Tems was able to bring that song from being a classic and now bringing it to the spotlight and making it win a Grammy. So shout out to Tems. I think she was the only Nigerian that won on that day. But I think Wizkid won for collaboration on the Bob Marley biopic that was made, the Bob Marley movie that was made. I think Wizkid did something there, you know, and he won a Grammy for that as well. So shout out to Wizkid. And I know there's been a banter about Davido. You know, Davido not winning any Grammy and hoping to win a Grammy, but didn't win a Grammy. And you know, the Burna Boy fans, the Wizkid fans, they've been trolling him, saying, you know, there's no big the big three they have is Tems, Burna Boy, and Wizkid. But hey, man, shout out to Davido, man, for doing your thing, keeping your head up, you know, keep making good music for your fans. Shout out to Burna Boy too, you know, for making his own music and doing his thing for his fans. Even though I'm not a fan of Burna Boy anymore because of his antics recently, right? Which I'm not going to talk about today. I've talked about that in my previous podcast. And shout out to Wizkid too, for sure, you know, for doing his thing as well, right? Making great music for his fans, and his fans love him for sure. Shout out to all the African or Nigerian artists, because come on now, we're killing it, right? In the global stage, we're killing it. We've taken we've put Amapiano in the back. Amapiano has nothing on Afrobeats, that's for sure. We're killing it with our Afrobeats. Shout out to all the Afrobeat arts, man. And with that, I'm gonna move to the next story that I have here. It's just gonna be a short one and a quick one. Which is the boxing analysis. I'm a big boxing fan, right? I need to drink some water for sure. But I'm a big boxing fan. Just need to wet my throat there for sure so I don't start coughing, right? But hey, I'm a big boxing fan and I like to talk about boxing every now and then. And there's just a lot of fights that I'm excited for that I just want to talk about. Here we have Ryan Garcia versus Romero, and shout out to the Saudi people, man. Turkey, Alai Sheikh. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. I'm sorry for that. Well, hey, shout out to the Saudi people, man. They've been putting out great fights, and that's what the boxing fans want. That's what the boxing world needs. Not all these mediocre fights that are put up every other day, right? We don't want to see those things, right? Ryan Garcia versus Roland Romero. This is going to be a good fight, that's for sure. Ryan Garcia, you know, shout out to him. Shout out to Roland Romero. These two guys have been beaten by Gervonta Davis. You know, he beat Ryan Garcia last. I think that was probably not his last fight, but the one before that. You know, he beat Ryan Garcia by knockout. Gave him a punch on the, I think it was in the kidneys, you know, in the kidney area, and that shot just dropped dude, and dude couldn't continue the fight, right? But shout out to Ryan Garcia. You know, the last fight he was out. I think he fought with Devin Haney, and in that fight there was a lot of controversy, right, because of the doping allegations. There were allegations of Ryan Garcia doping and having some banned substances in his body after the fight, which was a weird one, by the way, because you would think that the VADA, the people who do the doping thing, the doping test, you would think they would check these things before the fighters go into the ring, right? But somehow it was allowed, and after the fight, that's when everybody got to know about these allegations, which is weird. I mean, you would think someone who has some banned substances in their body, you would make it public so we know, and then it would be ultimately to the opposing fighter or the opponent to decide if they want to still go ahead and make that fight. Because there has been fights with what's his name? Big Baby Miller and Anthony Joshua. I remember when they were gonna fight, they were scheduled to fight, but then there were doping allegations too, and that fight was cancelled ultimately. This is typically what happens in the boxing world, right? I mean, some people dope, which is bad, which is wrong, because the sport is a very much contact sport, and you could kill someone just by good doping and making yourself even more stronger, right? We want to see people with their physical talents pushing their physical talents to the limit, right? But some people go ahead and try to cheat, right, which is absurd. But in the case of Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, I don't know what happened there. It was just very ridiculous that the people allowed that fight to happen, and then after the fight, they announced that, or started bringing up all these allegations. Oh, he doped, he did that, he did that, he did that. But hey, shout out to the Saudi people for putting up this fight. And I understand now that Ryan Garcia has agreed to random tests, just to clear those allegations and make the fight a clean fight for sure. And shout out to Rolly too. Rolly is another fighter that is so exciting. He talks a lot of shit, right? And that's what makes him. Puts him out there for sure. But definitely very skilled for sure. I mean, he could punch you with those big hands of his. He could give you one punch, and you could just drop, and then it's night for you, right? But again, Gervonta Davis was able to evade all those punches and drop him ultimately. I forget if he was in the 4th or the 5th round, and he dropped him as well. So this is a very exciting fight that I'm definitely looking forward to, and it's on May 2025 in New York City. Shout out to these people, man. The Saudi people, they've been giving us good fights, so shout out to them. The next fight here is Devin Haney versus Ramirez. I don't know a lot about Jose Ramirez, but I know for sure Devin Haney. I love him too. He used to be a defensive fighter. Keeping you at bay with his jab. But now I think he's trying to knock everybody out, and then he gets caught too much. Which is very interesting, right? He tries too hard to try to hurt people. But then if that's not your strength, that's not your strength. You just got to keep doing what you're good at or what you're best at. If what you're best at is keeping people at bay with your jab, keep doing it and winning your fights, right? At the end of the day, that's what people want to see you win. And I think you also want to win, right? With the least damage possible. So if you can do that with just keeping them at bay with your jab, then keep doing you, man. But also Ramirez, again, I don't know a lot about him. I guess I haven't watched a lot of his fights. But shout out to him too. Definitely a great fighter, I think. I mean, it should be for him to be facing Devin Haney. Definitely should be a great fighter. And my understanding is the winner of this fight and the winner of this fight are gonna fight afterwards sometime in September, I think, in the Canelo card. And then the loser of this fight and the loser of this fight are going to fight as well. That's my understanding, at least. And then the last fight here, which I'm also excited about, is these fights. Man, this is going to be a tough one. Martin Bakole. I used to think Martin Bakole was a Nigerian, because the name Bakole kind of sounds like a Yoruba name. But I've now come to know that he's from the Congo. So shout out to you, man. I watched your last fight with what's his name? They also call him Big Baby. Is it Jarrell Miller? I might be wrong there, but I think it's Jarrell Miller, maybe. Big Baby, yeah. Your last fight out, Martin Bakole, with him, that was just a kid. Man, I'd never watched this guy fight, but watching that fight, I'm like, this dude fights like George Foreman. Just the same exact way, the way he moves. He just walks straight to you, and then keeps giving you those uppercuts, left hooks, right hooks. Oh man, it was just too much for Jarrell Miller to handle on that day for sure. But that was crazy. I'd never seen him fight. I'd never watched him fight. But definitely people who had watched him fight were saying, hey, this guy is going to be too much for this other guy. And ultimately it happened to be like that, right? So shout out to Martin Bakole and Efe Ajagba. Efe Ajagba is Nigerian, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I'm rooting for my Nigerian brother. If I'm to bet on this fight, I'm gonna go with Martin Bakole. That's for sure. If I'm to bet on this fight, I'm gonna go with Martin Bakole because Efe Ajagba has not shown me a lot recently in his last fights. And the last time I watched him was the time he fought the Cuban guy. I forget that guy's name now. But the last time he fought the Cuban guy, he wasn't looking really good. It was an underwhelming performance, and he ultimately got knocked out or knocked down. And I think it was a TKO because he couldn't continue. Maybe a TKO or a knockout. I don't know what they tagged that one, but he lost that fight to the Cuban guy. And that Cuban guy, I forget his name. If anyone does remember that name, please let me know in the comment section for sure. But this also is going to be an interesting fight, but I don't think it's going to last the 12 rounds, right? Because Martin Bakole is just a force to contend with, that's for sure. So these fights are coming up in May, and they're going to be put up by the Ring magazine. And we know that recently the Turkey, I don't know how to say his name, right? The Turkey, the guy from Saudi Arabia, the crown prince in Saudi Arabia, they've been putting up great fights. So shout out to those guys, man. But hey, it's gonna be in May, and then the outcome of these, I think they're gonna bring some of these guys to the undercard of Canelo and Crawford. So this is another one that I'm looking forward to. I think it's gonna be in September for sure. I think they signed that deal with Canelo and Crawford. Hey, this is going to be another very interesting fight. I mean, if you're a boxing lover, you definitely want to see this fight. For me, though, I think Canelo wins, but I think regardless, people would say things about his win, but I think he's gonna win. This fight is an easy fight for Canelo, that's for sure. I mean, since after Floyd, I've not seen anybody who's as skilled as Canelo is skilled. I mean, the head movement, the punches, the strength, just all around out, this guy is just too good of a boxer, right? I mean, since after Floyd, this guy has been the next best thing since in my opinion anyway. Please let me know. I mean, you can disagree with me, but this is just my opinion. Since after Floyd, Canelo has been the next best thing. And I think he blows Terence Crawford out of the water on this one. I'm not trying to cause any smoke here. I'm just saying my opinion, right? I just think Canelo is just too much of a better fighter than Crawford. And Crawford is a very skilled guy. He's very skilled. His last fight with it wasn't his last fight, but the last time he was out with Errol Spence, he just outperformed Errol Spence. Shout out to Errol Spence, man. Big fish, man. Shout out to you for sure. I mean, I don't know what happened in that fight because Errol wasn't looking like Errol. I don't know what was going on in that fight, but he just wasn't looking good. From the first round to the time he was knocked out, everything was just looking like he didn't want to be there or something. He was taking too much punches, too much punishment, and ultimately he was looking around like he was lost. His mouthpiece was falling off his mouth and all that good stuff. It just was a sad scene, man, for me, especially being an Errol fan, right? And I really wanted Errol to win in that fight, but for some reason, he lost by knockout, and since then we've not seen him fight again, man. So shout out to you, man. If that's how you want to retire, man, all kudos to you, man. Shout out to you for sure. But I definitely hate to see my people who I love, like boxers who I love. I definitely hate to see them go out that way. Just like the fight with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. That was another very sad scene to watch. The way Jake Paul was just punching Mike in the head and all that good stuff. It was very sad, and that's one fight that I'm never gonna go back to go watch. Like that's one fight that I'm never gonna watch again. The fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. But hey, going back to this fight, Canelo and Crawford. My opinion again is that Canelo beats Crawford, and this is why. I think he's an all-round better fighter than Crawford. Crawford is very skilled, but Canelo, for one, he's bigger, stronger, more skilled. all around just better. I don't know how else to put this. And Canelo for some reason always gets stronger as the round progresses. And I can't say the same for Crawford. Crawford has been knocked down a few times in his career. Canelo has never been knocked down. I mean, he's been in the ring with people even bigger than him. He's been in the ring with Gennady Golovkin. He's been in the ring with Gennady Golovkin, taking straight punches to the face. And we all know Gennady Golovkin is a tough guy. He's a very heavy hitter, right? And Canelo never fell, right? Never got knocked down or anything like that. And ultimately won that fight. He's been in the ring with what's his name now? Bivol. Even though he lost that fight, but Bivol was a way bigger fighter than him on that night, right? He took a lot of punches to the head from Bivol, but never fell down still. He's been in the ring with people 175 and knocked them out. I forget the name of that guy, the 175 guy. If you remember, please let me know in the comment section. But hey, he's been in the ring with bigger guys than himself. And at some point, he was considering going to the what was the is it light heavyweight or something like that. He was considering going to the light heavyweights, not the light heavyweights. I think the light heavyweight. Where Usyk used to fight. He was considering going to fight with Usyk. You know, he was considering fighting Usyk at some point. That's how crazy this guy is, or that's how skilled he is, right? You can call it crazy, you can call it skilled, you can call it whatever you want to call, but that's what it is. Man, shout out to Canelo, man. And these are the reasons I think he beats Crawford, because Crawford has not fought anybody that much bigger than him. He's been knocked down. I don't think he has a strong chin as Canelo. I don't think there's anything Crawford can do to Canelo that is going to hurt him. I just don't think in general there's anything that Crawford is going to do that is going to hurt Canelo for sure. But hey, these are just my opinions, and these are going to be great fights to look out for. And this one is happening in September. And I think every fight fan right now is just waiting to watch this fight, because it's going to be an interesting one. But hey, man, these are my opinions. You guys let me know what you think. You guys let me know who you think would win in this fight when it happens, when and if it happens in September. Is it going to be Crawford? Is it going to be Canelo? I'd like to know your opinions. And you also let me know for this one, for Ryan Garcia and Roland Romero. I'd like to know who you think is going to win this one as well. And for Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez, I'd like to know what you think. And for Bakole and Ajagba, I'd like to know what you think. My pick for this one, though, is that Martin Bakole beats Ajagba, and it's not going to go the round. It's not going to go the distance. It's going to be a knockout by Martin Bakole. But for these ones, I really can't tell. But we're going to see for sure. But you guys let me know in the comment section what you think. And with that, that's going to be the end of today on KachiTV, the Be a Part of podcast. And we're going to be back next week with more interesting stories like we always do. And please subscribe, share, like, and I don't know, tell your friends about this channel, because we're going to be coming up with great stories all day. Thanks so much. And with that, peace.